Mamer stole Christmas. Every clover in Clawville liked fixing arcade games a lot, but the commercial Mamer on Craigslist clearly did not. He didn't care about the cabs, didn't find restore and please, and now please don't ask why, no one knows quite the reason. It could be his childhood was sad and not right. It could be perhaps that his shoes were too tight. But I think the most likely reason of all may have been that his wallet was 2 sizes too small. For whatever the reason, his wallet or his shoes, he surfed for sale forums for cheap cabinets to abuse. Working from his man cave with a sour Mamer frown, thinking of the marquee lights in the Clover's virtual town, he knew every Clover in Clawville online was busy now repairing their latest find. They're bulletproofing for the holidays, he snarled with a sneer. Tomorrow is Christmas, it's practically here. Then he growled with his Mamer fingers nervously drumming, I must stop Christmas arcade parties from coming. For tomorrow he knew all the Clover girls and boys would wake bright and early. They'd play their restored toys. And then sound pots up. Oh, the noise, 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 noise. That's one thing he hated, the noise, 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 noise. Then the Clovers, young and old, would restore and fix. They'd help each other, and they'd fix, fix. They would fix monitors and boards that had ceased, which was something a Mamer couldn't stand in the least. And then they'd do something he liked least of all. Every Clover down in Clawville, the tall and the small, would host get-togethers with beer, which goes without saying, and stand side by side, and the Clovers would start playing. They'd play and they'd play and they'd play. And the more the Mamer thought of the Clov repair co-ops, the more the Mamer thought, this whole thing, I must stop. They keep buying old cabs. I won't put up with it now. I must stop this Christmas from coming. But how? Then he got an idea, an awful idea. The Mamer got a wonderful, awful idea. I know just what to do, the Mamer laughed in his throat, and he made a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat. And he chuckled and clucked, what a great Mamer trick. With this coat and this hat, I look just like Saint Nick. All I need is a reindeer, the Mamer looked around, but since reindeer are scarce, there was none to be found. Did that stop the old Mamer? No, the Mamer simply said, if I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So he called his dog Max, then he took some red thread, and he tied a big horn on the top of his head. Then he loaded some dollies, tie-downs, and straps on a ramshackle sleigh, and he hitched up old Max. Then the Mamer said, giddy up, and the sleigh started down towards the homes where the Clovers lay a snooze in their Clawville town. All their windows were dark, quiet snow filled the air. All the Clovers were dreaming arcade dreams without care when he came to the first little house on the square. This is stop number 1, the old Mamer Claus hissed, and he climbed to the roof, empty bags in his fist. Then he slid down the chimney, though he had the body of a gamer. But if Santa could do it, then so could the Mamer.
Awesome.
He got stuck only once for a moment or two. Then he stuck his head out of the fireplace flue, where the little cabarets all sat in a row. These minis, he grinned, are the first things to go. Then he slithered and slunk with a slide most unpleasant around the whole room and took every game that was present. Asteroids and Spy Hunters, Galaga, Pong, Arkanoid, Moon Patrol, Gyrus, Donkey Kong.
Arkanoid?
Then he stuffed them in bags. Then the Mamer very nimbly stuffed all the bags one by one up the chimney. Then he slunk to the workbench. He took the Clover's tools. He took the cap kits. He took the wire on spools.
Not Jack's house.
Nice. Then he cleaned out that garage as quick as a flash. Why, that Mamer even took their impulse buy cash. Then he stuffed all the tea molding up the chimney with glee. And now, grinned the Grinch, I will stuff up Centipede. And the Grinch grabbed the game and he started to shove when he heard a small sound like the coo of a dove. He turned around fast and saw a future Clover so small, little Cindy Lou Clov, who had learned to solder just last fall. The Grinch had been caught by this daughter of a clover who had got out of bed for a cup of cold water. She stared at the Mamer and said, "Santa Claus, why? Why are you taking our arcade game? Why?" But you know that old Mamer was so smart and so slick, he thought up a lie and he thought it up quick. "Why, my sweet little tot," the fake Santa Claus lied, "the trackball on this game grinds and won't glide. So I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there and I'll bring it back here."
Awesome.
He thought his fib fooled the child, then he patted her head and he got her a drink and tried to send her to bed. But Cindy Lou Claus wouldn't go to bed with her cup. "We can fix it, Santa Claus. Let's fire this game up." With a finger on the start button, the other on fire, Cindy Lou Claus proved false Santa a liar. She even tested the voltages and checked for loose wires. Then she told him the game's history before it came to her house, of how when broken it had been home to a mouse. Then she told the story of each game in the house. It turns out several had been home to a mouse. It was 1/4 dawn, yet the Mamer listened transfixed about the beauty in classic games that are saved and fixed, of using new old stock parts, the bezel, the marquee, the Wicco sticks and repro art, the lights that aren't LEDs.
Oh, wow.
The Mamer thought of his garage on the side of Mount Cruppet, of each time he'd gotten an original part and just dumped it. More than nostalgia, Cindy Lou Claus was summing, it honors the past while encouraging new memories in coming. "Before my parents awake, I know what we could do. We should start a game for just a minute or two. Which to play, you can choose." "I suppose," mused the Mamer, "we have time for just one." He paused, trying to remember the last time he had fun. As the two played the game, a smile started to show. It started in slow, then it started to grow.
Whoa, now.
Now.
I'm so tempted to play it down, but I'm not. I'm not.
Playing the dedicated cab, why, it made him feel merry. It couldn't be so, but it was merry, very. He stared down at the game, the Mamer popped his eyes, then he shook. What he felt was a shocking surprise. Every clover in Clawville, the tall and the small, was right. Preservation was key after all. He hadn't needed to stop arcade parties. It's good that they came. People should be able to play games other than in MAME. And the Mamer with his Mamer feet ice cold in the snow stood puzzling and puzzling. How did I lose sight of this so? Games don't need to be multis. More important is the feel. Original games that play well are fun and are real. And he puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore. Then the Mamer thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe games shouldn't come from a profiteer in an eBay store. The heart of an arcade game perhaps means a little bit more. And what happened then? Well, in Clawville, they say that the Mamer's generosity grew 3 sizes that day. And the minute his wallet didn't feel quite so tight, he returned to Clawville through the bright morning light, and he shared his extra boards and his dedicated cabs, and he himself, the Mamer, took down his Craigslist ads.
Oh!
It was a long one. Thank you for hanging in there with me.